How to make homemade dishwasher detergent powder. Let me tell you. So to kick this off, if you're just here for the recipe, I would love for you to stick around and let me kind of explain it and go into depth. But if you really just are here for the recipe, go down in the description or in the show notes, wherever you're listening, and I will have typed out the recipe with the ratios I used, as well as there's a handful of other recipes that you can use. So I'll link those down below or type them out, but I will make a note as to which one I used. But as for the rest of you people who are here to just listen to me for what I have to say, welcome. Starting out, the first dishwasher detergent that I preferred to use were tablets. And I think, or the little like gel packs. And I think that's because that's what was used in my house growing up. And then after a while, I started thinking, is there an option where I don't have to use as much plastic, whether it be the plastic containers or the plastic bags that they come in? And so I switched to like Cascade powder, which comes in a cardboard box. I can just recycle the cardboard box. I know you can recycle the plastic too, but plastic takes a lot longer to break down than cardboard. And then I started thinking, what is in my dishwasher detergent? And can there be a more natural alternative to like man-made chemicals that are in my dishwasher detergent? So I tried a couple natural ones that you can buy. So I tried Nellie's dishwasher detergent powder, and I wasn't blown away. You also were instructed to use the high temperature setting on your dishwasher, and that's fine, but it uses more energy. And if I want to put any of my plastic containers on the top shelf, using the high temperature can like warp the plastic or almost like boil the plastic. If you see like little white bubbles on your plastic containers, that tends to be from the dishwasher, high temperature. And so I finished the Nellie's dishwasher powder, wasn't a fan. So next I tried 7th generation unscented powder. And again, not blown away. Nellie's cleaned okay, but it left a residue, even though it said it shouldn't leave a residue with the high temperature. 7th generation didn't get my dishes as clean as Nellie's. So then I didn't know where to go from there. You can buy, there are other brands of natural ones, but I didn't want to pay for them if I could just make them at home by myself. So it took me a while to actually look into what you needed to make your own at home. But what I came across once I did was one that had like 4 or 5 ingredients, but I didn't have all of the ingredients. And so I was like, not ready to order the ingredients I needed or find the ingredients that I needed. So I had come across a recipe that you could just use a tiny bit of your regular dish soap, some baking powder, and salt. So for the past 2 months, that's what I've been using as my dishwasher detergent. It's just, they say a few drops, but the dish soap I use isn't super sudsy. So I do a pump of my dish soap, and then playing around, I realized I was using too much baking soda. And so I limited the amount of baking soda I used to about a tablespoon. And then I filled up the rest of the dishwasher detergent compartment with table salt. Now, the reason I had to reduce the baking soda is because the amount of baking soda I used was leaving a cloudy film on my plates, on my cups, on my silverware, and it made my dishes look dirty, but I reduced it to about a tablespoon of the baking soda, and that stopped the buildup. But I knew there's probably a better option and something that I could just combine instead of having to get my dish soap and then get the baking soda and then get the salt. So upon more research, I found 4 to 5 common ingredients from people who are sharing their homemade dishwasher powders. So I'm here to share those with you today. What I ended up using is baking powder, washing soda, citric acid, and salt. Almost all of us have baking soda in the house. Washing soda, I wasn't familiar with. Citric acid, I also don't keep in the house. And then salt, I do. So we know what baking soda is, but what's the purpose of the baking soda in a dishwasher detergent powder? So the baking soda is sodium bicarbonate, It's a multi-purpose cleaner and degreaser. It helps scrub away food and grease and helps keep your dishwasher free of bacteria. It is mildly abrasive, so again, help get any food off of our dishes. It's also a stain remover and a deodorizer because we don't want our clean dishes smelling gross. So washing soda. What is washing soda? It's also known as soda ash, and to me it doesn't sound like a natural component, but it's sodium carbonate. So baking soda is sodium bicarbonate. Washing soda is sodium carbonate. My box is from Arm & Hammer, and it has 2 ingredients. It says sodium carbonate and water. I don't know why the water's in there, but it is. And it's powder, as you can see, as I'll show you. It's a compound naturally found, it's found in nature. The purpose of washing soda is to soften the water and cut through grease and grime. So again, similar to baking soda. Now, when I was looking at the recipes for homemade dishwasher detergent powder, I did find a handful that used borax versus washing soda. Now, you may have seen borax in your laundry detergent aisle because it's another compound that people use in homemade detergents. The difference between borax and washing soda. This comes from Borax's own website. So as we said, washing soda occurs naturally. It can be found commonly in the ashes of certain plants. So borax has a slightly different chemical composition. I'm not going to get into the details of it, but it doesn't seem that borax is a naturally occurring mineral, whereas washing soda is. So washing soda, if you have acids and bases, a base has a higher pH level than an acid. So acids have low pH levels, bases have high pH levels. So washing soda is very basic. Now, bases will denature proteins, and our soaps are basic. They break down grease when we wash our hands or we wash dishes. And that's why our hands dry out when we wash our hands, because it's breaking down the proteins in our skin, not just the dirt or the oil or whatever is on our hands or on our dishes. So borax has a lower pH level, so it's not as basic, it's not as harsh as washing soda. Now, I may take that into consideration, like if I were making a homemade laundry detergent where the clothes are gonna be on my skin, but I'm not sure if that even matters so much if your clothes are getting rinsed out really well. But this is not a laundry detergent episode, this is a dishwasher detergent episode. So there are I read some whispers about people like borax being slightly controversial. So I just didn't go with borax, I just went with washing soda. It's a naturally occurring mineral. That's just my choice that I made. And then we have citric acid. So I made sure to purchase food grade citric acid. And if you do a little search for citric acid on Amazon, a lot of the titles for the items being sold will say food grade. That's what popped up at the top for me, was food grade citric acid. So citric acid occurs naturally in your lemons, your limes, more potently, and then it does occur in like oranges and grapefruits, but it's not as potent. Citric acid can eat away at hard water buildup. It also helps to break down protein-based food bits. So looking at dishwasher detergent recipes, I did find that some recipes didn't call for straight up citric acid. Some recipes said to use unsweetened lemonade mix. So think like your little Kool-Aid packets that if you were to make it, you would have to add the sugar to it. But I just went ahead and bought citric acid, food grade. And then finally, kosher salt. I don't think it has to be kosher salt. I think you can just use coarse salt. One recipe that I'll put down below, just use table salt. Now, for your dishwasher detergent powder, if you're going to use table salt, which is the most cost effective, it's cheaper than coarse sea salt, and it's especially cheaper than kosher salt, go with plain salt instead of the iodized, because there's no benefit of having the iodine in your dishwasher detergent powder. The reason it's added to our salt is for are health benefits, and some iodized salts can contain an anti-caking agent, and I'm not sure if there's anything bad that would happen because there's an anti-caking agent in your dishwasher detergent powder now, but I would just go with the plain salt if you're going to use straight up table salt. So coarse salt is just larger granules than your typical table salt, is especially suitable for those places where the water has greater hardness. It can help to prevent lime deposits, which give you that cloudy appearance on your glasses, your silverware, etc., and adds shine to dishes and glassware. It also does a great job of dissolving grease and food bits on dishes, as well as removing stains from cutlery. So as it kind of sounds like I'm being a little repetitive as I read what each of those 4 components' jobs are in your dishwasher detergent powder, but my thought process is you're just creating a powerhouse of degreasing, deodorizing, scrubbing, and shining up your dishes. So I have my handy dandy list here, and I wrote down 6 recipes that just involve those 4 basics. Now, some of them do add essential oils, and that really is just for scent. Some people like their dishes to smell fresh, and other people just want them to be clean and not necessarily, like you don't want to be tasting lemon in your, well, maybe you do. Maybe you want lemon in your coffee. Maybe you're an espresso drinker with a twist of lemon. But I don't want my dishes to taste like detergent, so I just didn't add any essential oils. Now, so there was a common theme among all the recipes. It was 1 cup of washing soda and 1 cup of baking soda. Where they strayed was when you look at the citric acid amount. The citric acid amount ranged from 3 tablespoons, which is just 1 tablespoon shy of a 1/4 cup. The range is from 3 tablespoons to a whole cup of citric acid. So I tried to think and see why they might use less or more. I don't know. If you know, leave me a comment. And then the table salt ranged from a 1/4 cup all the way up to a whole cup of salt. So I just kind of went for the middle ground. I ended up doing 1 cup of washing soda, 1 cup of baking soda, 3/4 cups of citric acid, and 3/4 cups of salt. The reason I didn't do a whole cup of salt, I did have a little bit of a reasoning behind this, was because when I was doing my pump of dish soap, tablespoon of baking soda, and fill the rest up with salt, especially on my coffee cups, I could taste some saltiness as I went to take a drink of my coffee. So I realize within this recipe, I'm not using near as much salt as I was on a load by load basis with my crude dishwasher detergent, but that's just what I went with. So combining it and storing it. So I have mine right here. I just mixed all of the 4 ingredients into a bowl, and then I funneled it into a quart-sized jar. But I also read that it will clump up on you. So one tip was to leave it out for a few days, stirring it occasionally, and that just gives it time for any moisture that's in there to evaporate. And I noticed that I realized I was going to be doing that right as I was transferring it from my bowl to my jar, because it was already slightly clumping up in spots. So another tip was let it sit out for a few days, stir occasionally. You can add silica gel packs to your jar of detergent, or if you take a little bit of, would cheesecloth work? What did they say? Taking a mesh or muslin bag and put a little bit of uncooked rice in it, tie that together or close it up and put it in your container with your dishwasher detergent powder. And the reason for that is the silica gel packs or the rice will absorb any moisture that's in there. At some restaurants, you may have seen like there's rice in your salt shaker, and that is to help prevent it from clumping up because it'll absorb moisture that's in there. Another tip while you're mixing it, and this goes back to the washing soda, how basic it is, and that can be harsh on your skin. One website recommended wearing gloves while you're handling the washing soda. My hands didn't end up touching it, but you can always take that precaution if you want. Another website mentioned that citric acid and washing soda can work against each other. So they say the rule of thumb is 1 cup of washing soda to 1/4 cup of citric acid. So I didn't do that, but I may try that after I use up this recipe. If you guys do that, if you take the 1 cup of washing soda, 1 cup baking soda, however much salt you end up choosing to use, and then only 1/4 cup of citric acid, let me know how that fares for you. So let's see. I've had this for about, it's been shy of 24 hours. And so every once in a while, I'm just raking my fork through it. I haven't felt that I've been breaking up any clumps since about 12 hours ago. So it may not need to stay out a whole few days, but I'm just gonna let this hang out over the weekend. It's not gonna be in my way at all, so I'll just leave it out over the weekend, put it in my jar, and then store that. So how much do you use in your dishwasher? Every recipe I found said 1 tablespoon. Now, if you're like me, ever since I stopped using the dishwasher tablets or packs, I have always put a little bit of detergent in the pre-wash section. How much of an impact it makes, I honestly don't know. But when I ran the first load with just 1 tablespoon, it did pretty well. There was 1 mug that, using my makeshift dishwasher detergent with the soap, baking soda, and salt, that stained from, I don't know if it was coffee, hot chocolate, tea, a combination, it would not get clean. My hope was that it would get clean with this new powder that I made. I just did a load of dishes with the new dishwasher powder. Let's see if the mug got clean on the inside. The moment of truth. No, it didn't. Oh, a little disappointed. It did not. A little disappointing, but it's also a different material. It's not a smooth glazed material. So I think it's just one of those things. Coffee and tea stain things real good. And I think it may just be, I need to hand wash it. You can't go wrong with hand washing things every once in a while. I don't think you can do any better than hand washing, but the convenience of the dishwasher, very thankful for. The next test will be, can it clean off dried egg yolk? That's my next test. I have a plate hanging out in my dishwasher right now with egg yolk on it that I'm gonna see if this will take it off, just 1 tablespoon of it. Once I do that, I will update these show notes and let you guys know if it got my plate clean. A couple other tips for using a homemade dishwasher powder, and also if you're just looking for a natural alternative to your rinse agent, is putting vinegar in your rinse aid compartment. White vinegar, cheaper, and it's not blue, which makes me a little sad, but it's not blue, which is probably a good thing. No artificial dyes. If you're interested in what essential oils people were using, it's usually like a citric one, like a lemon essential oil, and one did use tea tree oil. The recipe that used lemon essential oil recommended 20 drops, whereas the one with the tea tree oil only recommended a few drops. So I don't know if some essential oils aren't as potent in scent as others, or if tea tree just is a lot stronger than the lemon essential oil. I don't know. And then the final tip for using this homemade or a homemade dishwasher detergent powder is to start with a clean dishwasher. So in the bottom, there's a filter that most of us have probably never taken out and cleaned, but it's in there. Take 10 minutes and clean it out next time. Dishwasher USA says that you can use citric acid to clean it. I think you can just use a big glass of white vinegar to clean your dishwasher too. But if you're gonna buy citric acid, you're probably gonna have enough to do this if you want to. But their directions are to remove everything from your dishwasher including the racks. Mix 1 cup of citric acid with 1 gallon of water. Pour the mixture into your dishwasher and run it on the longest cycle. When the cycle is finished, open up the dishwasher and let everything air dry completely. Once everything is dry, put the racks back in and load up your dishwasher as usual. So, if you don't like this recipe, there are others. Or if you want to make your own dishwasher detergent tablets, if you want to make your own dishwasher detergent liquid or gel, there are recipes for it. American Home Shield on their website has 4 homemade dishwasher soaps that you can use. Their powder includes borax. One of them includes borax, and the other includes unsweetened lemonade drink mix. And then they have a homemade dishwashing liquid that has a bar of soap or soap flakes. So I guess you're gonna end up making flakes of your bar of soap, essential oil, and water. And then the homemade dishwasher detergent gel uses liquid Castile soap, warm water, and washing soda. So where do you find these ingredients? Your baking soda and your salt, of course, you find in your baking aisle. You may be able to find large containers of baking soda in your laundry detergent aisle. There's a good chance you'll be able to find your washing soda also in your laundry aisle. If not, I found mine on Amazon. The same thing with my citric acid. Now, if you're trying to be as plastic free as possible, another option may be to check a low waste store or a food co-op near you. They may have some of these more natural ingredients. Why should you make your own homemade dishwasher detergent? It's up to you. One reason may be to reduce the amount of plastic you're using. One reason may be to eliminate harsh chemicals, man-made chemicals from your household, go more non-toxic. One reason may be the cost efficiency of it. I have a big bag of citric acid. I have a big box of washing soda. I normally use baking soda all the time for a few things, so that will get used up. But you can also use your washing soda and your citric acid for maybe a homemade laundry detergent. And I think of least importance, but I think is pretty neat, is more along the lines of being more self-sustaining, kind of using as few ingredients as you need and making it yourself and being like, I made this and it cleans my dishes. Yeah, it's just kind of taking your household into your own hands. There's something about that to me. There's something about having homemade things, home-cooked things. It's kind of special. If you agree, give this video a big thumbs up. If you don't agree, leave me a comment down below. I will leave all of my sources and all of the recipes I talked about today either typed up down below or linked down below. If you try this out, let me know how it goes. What ratios did you use? What pros and cons did you find? Let me know what topic you would like me to cover next. And if you missed last week's episode, go ahead and check that out. And don't forget that Jesus loves you and he wants a relationship with you. I'll see you guys next time.